Now, Dr. Arun Bharadwaj, a world renowned happiness mentor. Dr. Arun Bharadwaj is a thought leader, internationally celebrated keynote speaker, and an expert mentor on corporate happiness, innovation, and peak performance mindset. The mastered storyteller has mentored corporates, academic institutions, and national sports teams to achieve peak performance. His engineering happiness programs have inspired 300 plus organizations and enriched 90,000 plus lives worldwide. Dr. Bharadwaj, the president of Nambia, called Dr. Arun the Doctor of Happiness. He was awarded the prestigious Friends of Africa Award for Social Impact, and the World HRD Congress recognized him as 51 top global happiness leader. On behalf of KMV, I take this opportunity to extend a hearty welcome to our esteemed speaker of the day, Dr. Arun Bharadwaj. It's an honor to have you with us, sir.
Thank you very, Thank you very much, Dr. Pratima, and it's such a privilege to be with all of you. You Can we start now?
Yes, sir.
Oh, great. So first of all, thank you very much for having me. It's such a privilege to be with all of you, respected principal ma'am, all other academic leaders of KMV Jalandhar, and all my young friends. I'm an engineer. I was engineering technology solutions worldwide for almost 25 years. And then life took a turn, and now I'm engineering happiness worldwide. It's a pleasure that on such a important day dedicated to mental health, I'm speaking to all of you. If I have to tell you based on my engineering background, I would say what a coincidence that we are talking to each other or we are rubaroo with each other. But if I have to tell you based on my spiritual experiences in last 10 years or so, then I have to tell all of you that this moment was meant to be. This moment was meant to be. Today, I was meant to touch your lives. And all of you were meant to enrich my life. Because just imagine how many decisions all of you have made in your life. Even if one decision was made differently, then you would not be sitting in front of the screen right listening to me. Same with me also. I have made so many decisions in life, including after having my engineering and business degree, pursuing my research on happiness and ancient wisdom, which was, I think, pretty strange decision at that time. All these decisions made this moment today possible. Hence, I say this moment was meant to be. And let's create the best out of this moment. And that's why decisions and choices are so important in our life to shape our life. I have to tell you one story though, because I'm feeling so excited talking to all of you. I have a very interesting relation with KMV Jalandhar. My elder sister actually is an alumni. She studied in KMV from I think 80 to 83 or 84 in 1980s. And I had a strange privilege while coming back from our trip to Vaishno Devi. We went to meet her, and since I was just a small kid that time, I was allowed to roam around in your beautiful red stoned corridors and listen to all those peacocks flying and making those sounds in the courtyard, beautiful courtyard of KMV Jalandhar hostels. So yes, life has taken a full circle. This was in 1980 that I was looking and roaming around in those courtyards. And when I was looking at your website today, it reminded me, it made me nostalgic because I saw the same red courtyards today on your website as well. So, with that, let me just share some of the slides also with you. Let's try to keep this session interactive. You're very welcome to share your comments on the chat box. And I would request, ma'am, to see if there is a question that I might have missed and relevant. Please feel free to stop me in between and we will take that question. Ancient wisdom for excelling in modern times, the dilemmas of life and our best response. And we will also see how all this is related with mental health, the day that we are celebrating today. So let's get started. So don't worry, my laptop is fully charged. But this low battery, this symbol has become alarm to our life. When our phone or laptop shows low battery these days, we rush towards the power socket as if our life depended on all these equipments, right? And when was the so we run towards the power socket as if our life depended on them. But and these days our laptop, our phone, we maintain them to the best of health. We make sure that we upgrade our hardware, we upgrade our phones time to time, and we are so aware of all the operating systems that these devices have. We want the latest operating system, we want the latest patch, because we are afraid we should not be missing on the features. Our devices should work to the best of their capability. And we are also afraid that these devices should not catch some viruses. We are so careful about our devices. We treat our devices, our cars, better than we treat ourselves, isn't it? When was the last time you thought about upgrading your own hardware and software, your own operating system? Those of us who are in professional world now, when was the last time you went to a hospital for preventive checkup? We all are doctors ourselves now, because until we are really fallen on the bed, we don't even go and visit hospital. So, would you agree with me that we treat our cars, our pets, our devices better than we treat ourselves, isn't it? Let me ask you a question. Suppose you were walking around somewhere, beaches of Goa probably, and you found this chirag, the lamp, and a genie came out and said, I can fulfill your wish. What would be that one wish that you would ask for? Let's use chat box so we can create some interaction. I ask all of you participants, what would be your wish? Let's think. If there was one thing that you can get fulfilled in your life, what would you ask for? Think about it. Let's see some of the responses. To be healthy always. Wonderful. I wish to have peace of mind. Okay. Happiness. Wonderful. What else? To be healthy and happy. To see everyone happy. Parents to live forever. Wonderful. Wow. Sab khush rahe. Stable career. So many things we have in our mind, right? To be successful. Become an army officer. Okay. Who's this? Anu. Anu Radha. Anu, very interestingly, my wife is an ex-army officer, by the way, and her name is Anu too. So yes, if you want to get know more about it, sure. Wonderful. So you know, we have not thought of this question many times, and probably some of you have. So we want all these things from our life. Let me take you into a classroom. A teacher was asking students, what do you want to be when you grow up? Somebody said doctor, somebody said scientist, somebody said engineer. But one girl sitting in the back was quiet, and teacher said, you haven't said anything. What do you want to be when you grow up? And the girl said, I want to be happy. And the teacher said, no, girl, I don't think you understood my question. And the girl said, ma'am, I definitely understood your question, but I don't think you understood life yet. So impactful, right? Ultimately, everything that we are doing, what are we doing it for? Have you thought about that? Why do we do what we do? Because if we understand that, then we will have a very powerful decision making model in our hand. Why do we do what we do? Think about it for a minute. Why are you watching this seminar right now? Why do we meet somebody? Why have you come to KMV for studying? Now, worst case scenario, you'll say, my parents sent me, I didn't want to. But then I'll ask why? And then you'll say, because my parents would be feeling good. Why do you want to make your parents feel good? Oh, because that will give me satisfaction that I'm keeping my parents happy. Okay, what will happen then? In the end, you will say, because I want to feel happy. So you can start wherever. If I keep asking you why, somebody said good job. Why do you want to have a good job? So you can earn good salary, you can utilize your creativity. Why? Again, in the end, you will say, because I want to live a happy life. And if I ask you, why do you want to live a happy life? I don't think there's any answer to that question. That is the nature of life, isn't it? So in the end, all our pursuits are about pursuit of happiness. Since many of you are also psychology students, when I was doing my research, I in fact went to prison and I spoke to many criminals. And whatever crimes they have committed, I mean, I'm not talking about those serial killers I'm not talking about those irrational, those who have, some chemical composition problem, but a normal criminal. Whatever crime they have committed, if you ask them why, even they will convince you they committed that crime because they hoped that their actions would lead to happiness in the future. So we live with the hope that our actions, decisions, choices will lead to a happier tomorrow, isn't it? Now, the challenge is that many of you will connect with me. Classes teach us how to do the job, but not how to enjoy the job, isn't it? Most of our curriculum that we study, whether it is me or all of you now studying in colleges, you will agree with me, most of the curriculum is to make our life employable, not to teach to make our life enjoyable, isn't it? And that's where the connect with mental health comes. Now, why mental health is a very important topic? Because in India, especially, and probably worldwide, we have not taken this topic seriously. Even I have a daughter, she's 8.5 years old. Her name is Joy, just to remind me of my mission always. Even 8-year Joy also knows that if dad gets hurt and he has a cut, what to do. She knows to apply Dettol, she knows how to put handyplast and do first aid for me. Right? Unfortunately, nobody teaches us how to do mental first aid. When somebody comes to us and says, you know what, I feel anxious, I feel stressed, I feel depressed, I'm not feeling good, do we know how to handle that situation? In most of the cases we say, अरे यार, don't worry about it, just थोड़ा देर वेट करो, सब ठीक हो जाएगा, आराम से सो जाओ, चलो मूवी देख लो. Now, that's how we handle mental health. That's how we give mental first aid. It's like somebody broke leg and we said, "Arey, don't worry, yaar, it'll be okay tomorrow. Don't worry, just don't think about it." And because of that, when life has negative situations like failures, rejections, somebody criticizes us, we have all these negative inputs from media coming in. We do not know how to handle those thoughts, how to handle failure, how to handle rejection, how to handle criticism. And when we don't know all that, it results in low self esteem. And when that happens, we kind of become separate from the world. We start avoiding the world. And when that happens, we get into this shell of loneliness. And all this accumulated together has become one of the greatest problem of this time, modern times, depression. India, which was supposed to be spiritual guru of the world, now has highest depression or stress related diseases. We have become capital of depression oriented diseases in the world. So unfortunate. So what we need to do, we need to learn the art of mental hygiene. As you know how to keep your physically clean by taking bath every day, we also need to learn the art of mental hygiene. As you know how to do dental flossing to keep your teeth healthy, we need to know the art of mental flossing to keep our mind healthy. Because mind, you will see in a minute, in few minutes, is so important to create a happy life. I hope you're connecting with me so far. Let me take you back now. So far we discussed the challenge. We discussed what life is going through these days. What are the challenges of modern times? Now let me take you back to your own campus. This beautiful statue that Pratima idol that you have of Devi Saraswati. Have you ever thought of why Saraswati's Vahan is Hans? Why swan is the vehicle of Devi Saraswati? Remember, we are talking about ancient wisdom in the modern times. So I'm going to take you on this journey of ancient wisdom and how to apply it in modern times. My seeking to the ancient wisdom began because I saw that ancient wisdom, which has such a potent solution for our modern day problems, is not being communicated to youngsters like you purposefully. We are telling you, worship this. We are not telling you why. Because in a minute, when I tell you how beautifully our sages have put wisdom into this one visual, you will start admiring. And from tomorrow onwards, when you pass by this, it'll be a different feeling altogether. Your logo says Asto Ma Sadgamaya. That's the motto you have. Why come to KMV? Why come to any educational institution? Why attend any learning session like this that is happening today? Astoma Sadgamaya. Asatya se satya ki or. From ignorance to knowledge. Because ignorance, when you get inside a dark room and you do not know what it is, you have walked through a jungle and then there is this dark room. The moment you step in, you see something lying and you get afraid. You feel that's a snake and your fight and flight behavior gets activated. You're stressed now. You run for your life. Why? Because it was dark. Now somebody say, hey, don't run. I'm going to turn on the light. When the light gets turned on, what you see, there's actually a rope there. Just because there was no light, rope appeared to be a snake. Once you knew the satya, truth, once you came out of ignorance of asatya, not knowing or ignorance, once you came out of that, in the light of satya, you suddenly saw reality and your mental condition was healthy. Asthoma sadgamaya, tamsoma jyotirgamaya. So beautifully our sages have put couplets and so much of wisdom, so much of meaning into it. Now my question to you was, do you know why swan is the vehicle of Saraswati? I think there's some chat responses. Let's see. Swan symbolizes inner beauty and peace. Beautiful, beautiful. That's at the physical level. Now, wonderful. Dr. Neeraj has said something very interesting. So if you know, there's a in the mythology, swan is a mythological bird, and swan is lives in Kshir Sagar. Kshir Sagar is Doodh ka Sagar, milk, ocean of milk. Now in Kshir Sagar, there is milk, there is water, and swan is supposed to have, or swan has that mythical capability that it can separate water from milk or milk from water. It separates milk from water. It only intakes milk, leaves the water behind. And do you know what is the food for swan? Food for swan is the pearls that exist in Kshir Sagar. That means to get food, to nourish itself, swan takes a dive into Kshir Sagar, and from the bottom of Kshir Sagar, it only picks up the pearls of wisdom. And that's what makes swan an appropriate vehicle for Devi Saraswati. Is that not what we are here for? Is that not what you have come to educational institution for? Isn't it? And that Veena in hand, we will talk about that later someday, but that Veena symbolizes Triguna, Sattva, Tamas, Rajas and Tamas. And that Veena says that if these wires are too loose, then also beautiful music will not be created. If they are too strong, then also it will not be beautiful. They have to be in right proportion to create a harmony. We'll talk about that wisdom some other day. Today we'll focus on learning and decision making. So that's what Swan is. Now let me take you to a Gurukul. In that Gurukul, the sage is teaching the students art of living happy life. And he starts with this Shanti mantra that you might have heard many times. Sahana vavatu sahano bhunaktu sah viryam karvavahe tejasvina vadhitamastu mavid vishavahe. And what it says is, may both of us stay protected. I'm going to go a brief version today. Sahano bhunaktu, may the fruit of this conversation nourish both of us. See, those sages were so humble, and I'm hoping to bring that humbleness in today's session. Today's session hopefully will enrich you because of the wisdom of ages I will share with you. But by you asking me question, it is going to also make me think and enrich me as a person. So, Sahano Bhunaktu, may this session enrich both of us. Sah Viryam Karvavahe. But this session would not be meaningful. Any classroom session would not be meaningful unless both of us participate with equal energy. That means you have to ask question, you have to respond and create an interaction. Here also, in classes also. The fourth line is the most appropriate that I want you to think about and keep in your mind forever. Why have you come to KMV? Why are you taking this education? Why would you go to the higher education? Tejasvina vadhitamastu. May the knowledge that we acquire come to our help when we need it the most. I hope you will keep this one line in your mind forever as long as you are learning. And I hope you will keep learning for all of your life. May the knowledge that you acquire come to your help when you need it the most. Our challenge is we know a lot, but when it comes to apply that knowledge, we go back to our instincts. So, whatever you learn, test it. Whatever you are studying, whatever you are learning in the class, do you know how to apply it in your life? Do you know how to apply it in making choices of life? Do you know how to handle situations of life using the knowledge that you are acquiring? If you are doing that, then your knowledge is tejasvi. Then the knowledge that you are acquiring is brilliant. Ma with Visha Vahe. If nothing else happens, at least the relationship between us, the friendship, the fraternity between us becomes stronger because of this knowledge exchange. Such a beautiful verse to start a class. Now, whatever you have heard so far in last two slides from me is very beautifully put in this one parable. Students come to the sage in the Gurukul and ask, Guruji, for every problem that we share with you, toughest of life's problem, you trivialize them. For every problem, you give us a story. Our problems are so complex, but you only give us a simple story. So the Guruji smiles. Acharya smiles and says, You know, my stories are just like a candle. By themselves, these candles are not more than 50, 100 rupees. But it is in the light of this candle that you can find to the key to the treasure of life. Always remember this. Whether it is my session today or the classrooms that you attend and will attend in future, my role or the role of the educator, Acharya in front of you would be that of a candle. If you just listen to my talk and my stories and feel amused by them, they will be worth 50, 100 rupees like that candle. But if you reflect these stories, this wisdom of ages that I'm sharing with you in the book of your life, reflect on it, you'll find keys to the treasure of your own happiness and success in your life. My role is that of a candle today, and your role is that of a person who's going to see book of your life with that candle, in the light of that candle. I hope that makes sense. Now, the second thing that Acharya tells the students, and I am asking you while making life's decisions, be a winnow, not a sieve. Now, you know what is winnow? It is called chaj, ya shupa in many cultures, chaj. What it does is, when you are separating paddy husk from the grains, rice, it retains what is desirable, wheat or rice grains, and it let go of what is undesirable, the paddy or the husk. That is winnow or charge. So be a winnow, retain what is of value, and not a sieve. Sieve retains what is not of value and lets go of what is of value. तो जब आप क्लास में बैठे हो, when you are sitting in a class, maybe I'll tell you 100 things today or maybe 10 things. Maybe out of those 10, 2 connected with your mind and heart, and probably 8 did not. Human nature, you know how we decide? We start talking about those 8 and start criticizing the source instead of retaining those 2, 3, 4 that are of value in our life. So when you are making life's decision, make sure that focus on positives. Make sure and you focus on things that will bring value to your life. Let go of what you think is spurious, not relevant for you. And how would you find what is relevant, what is not? Remember that candle parable. You have to take the wisdom and reflect in your own life. Then my experiences, my wisdom share will become your wisdom, not remain just information that I'm sharing with you. So be a winnow and not a sieve. Okay? Why all this is important? Why am I sharing about making right choices with you? Because if you think about it, life is a journey of making choices. As I mentioned in the beginning, you are where you are right now because of the choices you have made. And I am here today in front of you because of the choices I have made. So life is nothing but an event happens and we make certain choices. And as a result, what we lead is our life. And if we can make right choices, at least if we can make informed choices, choices to the best of our capability, we have a better opportunity of creating a happier life. Okay, before we move on, is there any question or any thought that you have? If you have any question, you can type in the chat box, or any of the faculty members have any comment or question, please feel free to join in sharing. I don't see any question yet. Okay.
So we have one question from a student.
Yes,
So I'll
please.
unmute the student.
Yeah, yeah. Or you can ask. Either way is fine with me. You can unmute the student. That's
Okay.
fine.
Also, I've unmuted you, but you please unmute from your side.
Very good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. My name is Arzu, and I am continuing my Bachelor's of Arts degree at Kannada Mahavidyalaya. I am really happy to attend your session for the second time here. I've already attended your session earlier. So, sir, my question is, as you said, sir, my question is that as you said that whenever a person comes to us having an issue of mental health or saying कि मुझे ये चीज नहीं अच्छी लग रही, our solution is तुम भूल जाओ, कोई बात नहीं, टाइम लगेगा, ठीक हो जाएगी. So what can be the probable answer when we think कि हम उनके shoes में आके and we cannot actually treat that person's problem?
Yes.
हम उस चीज का correct solution कैसे दे सकते हैं?
Wonderful, Arzu. Thank you. See the choices that you made, you and whoever spoke with Dr. Pratima. That's why I'm here today. See how choices create our future. This event was seeded because of you decided that okay, I want to bring this conversation in front of my friends also. So wonderful. In a way, you have already started the process of having this conversation around mental health with your friends, right? So thanks for that first of all. Now, second, your question of what should be the right answer. First problem that most of us face and feel, we have lost one very important skill that human beings should have. That skill is of curiosity, being curious, right? We have become responders. जैसे ही आप कुछ बोलना शुरू करते हैं, whatever, whoever, if I'm talking to somebody, the moment that person starts speaking or asking a question or presenting his or her view, within few seconds, most of us turn off our thinking. We go into respond mode. अभी उसने बात करना बंद भी नहीं किया और हमने अपना रिप्लाई पहले ही बनाना शुरू कर दिया. एंड वी आर वेटिंग. तुम रुको तो सही, मेरे पास तो पहले से ही आंसर है. And the person stops for taking a breath and we will start giving a response, isn't it?
Yes.
Most of us feel starved. Most of us feel starved that we are not being heard. मैं अपनी बात नहीं present कर पा रहा हूँ, right? And challenge is this only in our life. So if some person is coming and sharing with you some challenge, we will start getting into solution mode before even understanding things from that person's point of view. This is the cause of majority of stress also and relationship problems also. So what shall we do then? Now you know 3 words, right? 3 words are sympathy, empathy and compassion. Sympathy is when somebody starts sharing something with you, you feel bad for that person, right? You're kind of understanding, oh, this person is going through something bad. And as a human being, we start solving the problem without even knowing the details. So let's move on to the second one. From sympathy, let's start practicing empathy. Empathy is putting ourselves in that person's shoes if we can, or at least understanding more of that person's context so you are in a better situation to put yourself in that person's shoes. Then the third thing is compassion. Now, empathy, we talk a lot about empathy these days. There are courses in psychology about empathy, but most of the spiritual organizations or leaders or think tanks will talk about compassion. Empathy is thinking of things from other person's point of view, and compassion is when you listen and place yourself in other person's shoes with the intent and motivation of helping that person. Now, how can you help? Instead of you deciding how to help, you let that person speak first. Let that person talk about whatever stresses, problems in life that person is going through, and then say, how can I help you? Maybe that person just needs a listening ear and nothing else. Maybe that person says, I just need some time with somebody where I'm talking about something nothing related to me right now. Right? It happens a lot of time when I get into seminars like this, like many of you who attended, many of you reached out to me later, and many of you shared very personal things with me. Why did that happen? Why did you not share that with somebody who's right there, who knows you forever, and you are sharing with me very personal details because you felt that I'm not going to judge you. Second, I'm not going to start giving you something based on your past and your behavior and all that stuff. You reached out to me because you felt that there's a person who will first listen to me and probably based on his background and experience provide me something which will be experience based, not best practices answer. Now this is second point you have to remember. When we go for finding solution to such problems or when we are giving such solution, and I'm also talking to all of you academic leaders here, the professors, our challenge is we are very good at giving best practices answer. Like I many times people ask me, अच्छा अच्छा आप happiness expert हैं तो आप वो फलाने बाबा जी वाला काम कर रहे हैं, oh you are just like that other organization right? And I with a chuckle and smile say नहीं नहीं मैं थोड़ा सा better काम कर रहा हूँ. बोले कैसे? तो मैं कहता हूँ देखो जिन बाबा जी ने खुद शादी नहीं की ना, that person cannot tell you how to live with another woman for 365 days 24/7. That person can at best give you best practices. वो तो कोई भी दे सकता है इंटरनेट पे सर्च करके 10 best practices how to keep your wife happy. But somebody who has lived through, has the experiential wisdom, has gone through pain and pleasures of that situation can give you right answer. So both ways you have to remember Arzu. जब आप किसी को solution दे रहे हैं, your role can be just listening. And together you find out what would be the next best conversation. Who in the similar situation can give a experiential wisdom to you, right? So they used to say कि अगर आपको गुरु भी चूज करना है ना उसके लिए भी एक कंडीशन होती है जिसमें ये भी एक महत्वपूर्ण कंडीशन है, वुड यू ओनली रिसीव बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस आंसर दैट माइट नॉट कनेक्ट विद यू और यू विल रिसीव एक्सपीरियंशियल विजडम. सो आपका रोल, फर्स्ट रिस्पॉन्डर का रोल इज लिसनिंग. Just let that person vent out his or her emotions, frustrations, everything. Then second part is seeking that person's point of view because this person has gone through this a lot. They might also know what is the help that they are seeking. Let them tell you what help they want instead of you pushing the solutions on them. Third, if both of you do not know what the next step should be, then both of you sit together and decide who you should be doing the third conversation with. And my request to you is, please do not use Google as your third responder. Google has very good information out there, but Google also has जब आपके कहीं लेफ्ट शोल्डर में दर्द हुआ क्योंकि आप ये तो भूल गए कि कल रात को आप सोए गलत थे, आपने तकिया मोटा ले लिया था, लेकिन यू वेंट टू गूगल एंड सेड माई लेफ्ट शोल्डर इज हर्टिंग, तो गूगल बताएगा अच्छा आपको तो हार्ट अटैक हो रहा होगा, आप सीधे अभी हॉस्पिटल चले जाओ. And I'm pretty sure all of you are chuckling, laughing right now because almost everyone all of us would have gotten corona by now 2-3 times or 4 times. So I'm just, because young generation, our first response is go to Google and search. What I'm saying is, as a friend, find out what should be your third place to go and get right information to help yourself or help the friend that you're trying to help. Okay? So I took a little bit longer time because this question gets often asked and mostly remains unanswered. Arzu, I hope I answered your question. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Do we have any other question on the chat box, ma'am?
No, sir, we don't have any more questions in the chat box yet.
Okay, we will take one or two thoughts and then we will see.
All right.
More questions better because then it is becoming more relevant to challenges that all of you have on top of your mind. I would not even mind not going any further from here and just do a Q&A. That would be fine with me. This next thought is amazing. This thought you will soon, I will run it as a quiz. You have to tell me what do you think this thought comes from? Where do you think this thought comes from? But in this thought lies success of life. In this thought lies keys to happiness in our life. Our life today is choices we have made, isn't it? Whatever, whoever you are right now, it is all because of choices we have made, right? And our life tomorrow, our destiny would be choices we have made and choices we will make. So today is a very, very important day in all of our lives. All of our lives. Many times people start asking me about, सर आप कर्मा में विश्वास रखते हो, सर आप पास्ट लाइफ में विश्वास रखते हो, फ्यूचर लाइफ में विश्वास रखते हो. सो आई एम नॉट सेइंग दिस इज फ्रॉम somebody. It is my own interpretation of life based on whatever research I've done, whatever I've experienced in my life. For me, life is very simple. When I was born, I do not know what happened to me before that. I know there were generations, the DNA learned a lot of things over millions of years. All that information, knowledge, wisdom is part of my DNA also. So when I was born with those karmas, that information, that wisdom, part of my DNA. But I believe my life started the day I was born. And from present till the time back when I was born, that's my past life. Now, if you connect with that model, great. I'm just sharing this with you. And whatever I share with you, it is a point of view, not the point of view. If you have another point of view, you are very welcome. Many of you have more experience than me probably in life and learning about life. Very welcome to share that with all of us. So the day I was born till yesterday was my past life. And from tomorrow, when I sleep tonight, nobody guarantees I'll wake up tomorrow morning. If I do wake up tomorrow morning, I'll consider that to be my next life. And what I believe is this. From my birth until yesterday, whatever karmas I have done, whatever choices I have made, whatever decisions I have made, that's my previous life. And because of that previous life, because of the karmas of past life until yesterday, is my today. The quality of my today is based on all the karmas of my previous life until yesterday. And whatever I'm doing today, the karmas of today, they will help me build my future life, which is starting from tomorrow morning. So this today is so important. Our yesterday and tomorrow is hanging and connected with this today. And the choices that we make, decisions that we make, decides if we are going to live a life that we desire. Can we create our destiny? Or are we going to live a life that we do not desire? I want to seed another thought in your mind. Many times, unfortunately, I get to hear this. Sir, I'm in India. अगर मैं किसी और country में होती तो बड़ा अच्छा होता. India में तो girls के लिए scope नहीं है, sir. I want to tell you one thing. How you were born, whether it was a boy or a girl, black or dark or light skinned, in India or somewhere else, in a rich family or a poor family, whatever was the conditions of your birth, that was your fate. That was your fate. We don't have control our fate, unfortunately. But whatever happens today is totally in your control. You don't have control on your fate, how you were born. But what you do with how you were born decides your destiny. Once again, you have no control over how you were born. That was your fate, and you have no control over your fate. But what you do with your fate is your choice. It is based on the decisions you are going to make today. And those choices, those decisions are going to create your destiny, my friends. So you have no control over your fate, but you have complete control over your destiny. And today is the link between your fate and your destiny. And I'm sure what you will pick up from today's conversation and in your life going forward, you will keep it in that context that I might not control my fate, but I will become sculptor of my destiny. Now, all of this that we have talked about, you will agree with me, is the most important part of our life. And that depends not on Android and iOS, but that depends on iOS of a different kind, our inner operating system. Because choices that we make decides our life. And those choices are a function of how our inner operating system works. And this is where we come back to mental health. Actually, more than mental health, mental fitness, beyond that. And this inner operating system, I hope and wish in future would be taught even in the middle school. Because if we knew interworking of this inner operating system, and if we knew art of upgrading this inner operating system on a consistent basis, our life would be different plateau. So at least let's take a dip into what our inner operating is like. Because this inner operating system is what creates joys and sorrows of our life. It is all about how we interpret our situations in life that we create joy and sorrows. Now, let me give you an extreme example. Am I telling you that even a very painful situation can be joyful? Yes, I'll give you an example. But before that, let me talk about what is this iOS inner operating system like. Many of you psychology students would have gone into detail of this, but those of you who are not psychology, I want to give you psychology 101, because I think this is one of the most important inner operating system that we all must know about. This inner operating system, which is our mind, works on very simple principle. Sense the sensory information, interpret those informations, decide based on what you have interpreted, and then act. That's simple in a very fundamental way. Sense, interpret, decide, and act. Now, how we interpret is based on the stories that we have built. And these stories are the functions or programs or coding of our inner operating system. For example, my mom told me story of East India Company. All these Gora log, fair skinned log, they came to India, and how they attacked. They came for business and then suddenly they cheated us, they divided us, they conquered us. A lot of people got killed. And there was this perception and story built in my mind that people from certain region, from certain cultures, certain skin type, they are not to be trusted. That story became part of my interpretation engine, my inner operating system. Now, if I'll meet any person of that background, immediately that story will get activated. And when that story will get activated, my response, my interpretation of whole thing will change. Let me give you another example. How our stories create interpretation and our decisions are influenced, our life is influenced by those stories. There's a person, suddenly the house next to that person is being broken. They are breaking it. There's loud noise. This person is not able to sleep. He gets really wild. How come these stupid people in the night doing all this noise and not allowing me to sleep? In anger, he goes out to those people. And this contractor who is breaking the house says, "Sir, your name is Arun Bharadwaj?" "Yes." "Oh, sir, you are so angry. I was not supposed to reveal this information to you, but since you are very angry and you are asking for it, let me tell you. That aunt that you used to have who was living in America, she has actually bought this house and she wants to remodel it and gift it to you. And that's why we are breaking it. And she is living the last stages of her life. She wants to give the key before she passes. That's why we have to work overnight." Now, suddenly the story in my mind has changed. Now, that same noise of breaking walls is sounding like music to me. In fact, I'm saying, why don't you do it faster? After a few days, that contractor again comes to my home and says, "Sir, we have committed a mistake. Actually, वो L जो था वो L लिखा हुआ था अपर केस में, हमने सोचा लोअर केस में है. वो L902 अपार्टमेंट फ्लैट नंबर नहीं था जिनके लिए घर बन रहा है, वो I902 था. वो शर्मा जी के लिए नहीं, वर्मा जी के लिए मैडम छोड़ के गई हैं." Now suddenly the story changed, and then again the same music until yesterday became noise for me. What am I talking about? I'm saying that events are not in our control. Events happen in the world. But in our control is our action, how we act on those events. And those actions depend on how we interpret those events. And a simple equation of Karma Yoga, events that are not in our control is our actions. They decide outcomes in our life. Now we are talking about in our topic, excelling our life. That means events that are not in our control, Corona was not in our control, many other things in our life, they are not in our control. What is in our control? How we act. And I'll tell you act means what in a minute. And based on how we act, will decide outcome in our life. Now this action can be of multiple types. And this is what I meant by decision making models from ancient wisdom. This action can be either instinct based, and those of you who are from psychology background, you will understand this action as instinct based to be reaction or fight and flight behavior. Our mind has wisdom of millions of years of evolution. When we are crossing a road and suddenly a car comes, we don't think, we just react. And that is very important for our living, reactions. They are instinctive or conditioned. That means we become habitual of certain things we are doing over and over and over again. And those reactions, when we react to events, they create outcomes. We have alternative choice. Instead of reacting and going by instinct and condition, we can also respond. And how do we respond? And I know this is a little bit deeper, one level deep, but I want you to remember this, easy to remember. We can respond when we use our brain's capability, which is Vichar, Vivek, and Vairagya. I'll tell you Vairagya, very important. So, Vichar is our capability to come out with many ideas on the same situation. So, when you face an event, like Arzu asked a question, some friend came to you and said, I'm depressed, I'm stressed, then you start ideating what is causing this. So you come out with many ideas. Human brain has capability to come out with many ideas to respond to the same situation. Then second, we have intellect. Our intellect is capability to identifying best possible solution out of these many variations, out of many possibilities, which is the best possible solution. Now the third one is very important, Vairagya. That means when we are choosing which is the best solution, now when Arzu is helping her friend, human beings, we again react, we go by instinct. I will assume that you will like what I like. So when we are telling what is the best possible solution, we are basing most of the time our ideas, our response based on our likings, our biases, or our background. Vairagya means instead of attaching ourselves, instead of following our likings and dislikings, for a specific event we should choose best possible solution based on what value it has in the current context. Not based on what is my past, based on my biasing, based on my liking or disliking. I want to share something very interesting about relationships because relationship is one very core ingredient of happiness. Somebody asked me this question. It comes from a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People, a must read for all of you. This book was written in 1930s, 1940s by Dale Carnegie, but still remains one of the most popular human psychology books. It's not a psychology book, it's about motivation, but I think one of the best books that I've read. Used to be my favorite giveaway to my friends. How to Win Friends and Influence People. And he asks a question. When you go fishing, what do you put on the hook? He says, okay, wait, before you answer that question. Which fruit do you like? Suppose I like apple. I'm from Himachal, so I like apple. So he says, if you like apple, if you are going to catch a fish, do you put apple on the hook? No. Why not? Because I'll not be able to catch any fish with apple. What would you put on the hook? I will put a worm. I'll put the right bait. And then he says, remember always, this is the secret of relationships. Bait the hook to suit the fish. Are you getting it? Bait the hook to suit the fish. You cannot put apple. So remember, when you are finding solutions, you have to identify what is the value. What are you trying to achieve? So instead of your likings, you have to think things from others' point of view, right? Or the situation's point of view. That's when your reactions become responses. And life is all about having events that we do not control. So what do? You have three options. CIA. Control what you can control. Influence what you can influence. And if you cannot control or influence something, then just accept it. Because when you do the CIA, instead of reacting, you will start responding to the situations. Now, if you have any question around it, I'll be very happy to answer. Just give me 1 or 2 more minutes because I'll complete this thought and then we will go to the questions.
Viktor Frankl, the Austrian Holocaust survival and neurologist, said that between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. One thing meditation does is it helps you to be comfortable sitting in this space.
Now, this is, I think, one of the most important saying that you would hear from me today or in your life itself. because this is life defining. I would like you to think of this once again. I'm playing it again. Just listen to it once again.
Viktor Frankl, the Austrian Holocaust survival and neurologist, said that between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. One thing meditation does is it helps you to be comfortable sitting in this space.
Between stimulus and response, somebody shouts at you, how do you respond to it? The moment in between is your chance to choose a response over reacting. I'll give you an example and then I'll show you a video, very interesting example. I'm coming to office and as I'm driving my car, an auto guy, he comes and just cuts me off. And it was so narrow escape, that guy, I would have hit him. Or this is a biker and you see how the bikers are running as if they are running race of their life. And then whole journey that I'm taking to my office, I'm cursing this guy. He would have gotten hit and I would have gotten beaten up and I had to go through all this pain. And then I reach my office and I start talking to my colleagues how this stupid youngster who was driving this crazy bike almost got hit and now he put me into this bad mood this morning. For half an hour, 1 hour, I'll keep going and going and going, talking about this biker who just spoiled my day. For that day, 1 hour of my life is hijacked by that biker who merrily has gone ahead of me, does not even know that I exist in the world, and he has not even thought twice of cutting my path. And here I am, I have given 1 to 2 hours of my life dedicated to this biker who does not even care that I exist in the world. Why? Because I reacted. Now I could have also said, these youngsters, pata nahi kis jaldi mein rehte hain. Chalo, God bless you, stay safe. That would have been a response. Would have sent some positive energy towards that biker and saved 1 or 2 hours of my life that I wasted as a result of my reaction. This is what I mean by responding to situation and non-reacting. Now, as you might have all guessed, do you know where this wisdom comes from? Although we are talking about it in the modern context, but if I tell you, this is a sense of Gita. In the end, remember, outcomes are a function of how we respond to situations in our life. But what we need to remember, we do not control outcomes. We can influence outcomes. Once again, we cannot control outcomes of our life. We can influence outcomes of our life. What it means is, before an outcome happens, we have choice between stimulus and response to choose the right response. But once we have made that choice, our freedom in life is gone. The choice will then decide the outcome. And what Gita says is, you have influence over the outcome. So you should do your actions to the best of your capability. Best quality actions. That is Karma Yoga. Your action should be of best quality. Well intended. And whatever outcome comes after, although your intent is to get certain outcome, but remember, you don't control it. You can influence it. If you do not get desired outcome, next time your quality of actions should further improve. So next time around, your outcome would be closer to what you desire. And that I'm representing in this very simple equation. Event plus action is reaction. But event, when you mindfully act on that event, creates a response and creates a better opportunity for you to create desired destiny. I hope this thought you'll keep in mind. You all might have seen this movie called Matrix, and you saw how Neo can dodge these bullets. He is responding by delaying time. He can see these bullets coming. And between that stimulus and his response, he has created a time lag. And we can create that time lag by knowing that we can sometimes react, and those reactions are negative for our life. So take a deep breath. When a stimulus happens, think of this conversation we are having today. And think how you can handle this event with the right response. So the outcome, which is although not guaranteed, may be closest to your desired destiny. I hope all this is making sense to you. Let me put it in very interesting perspective to you. We are going to go through this video and I'm going to ask you a few questions. This is a very, very interesting video. It is not of a Swamiji. It is not of some book. It is of a simple person who lives in New York, person like me and you, and see how he responds to life situation in a very beautiful way. This is a TED talk by a gentleman, Mr. Mehta, and in that TED talk he's talking about a story. Let's listen and then let's respond to the question that I'm going to ask to you.
So that's really giftivism. It's the practice of radically generous acts that change the world. But it's not just reserved for the Gandhis and the Mother Teresas and the Dalai Lamas of the world. In the bottom right over there is this man that most of you may not have heard of. His name is Julio Diaz. Everyday Joe. He lives in New Jersey. Every day he takes the subway back home. And one day he's getting off, and this kid comes up to him with a knife, and he says, "Give me all your money." He says, "Okay, well, here's my wallet." Gives it to him. Kid's about to run off, and then he yells out at the kid, "Hey kid, it's a little cold. Do you want my jacket too?" The kid's blown away.
Now, did you hear that? Did you hear that? Somebody has stolen your wallet. What would be your response? What would you do? What would you do? I should have paused it a little before, but anyway, what would you do? If somebody stole your wallet and showing you the knife, what would you do? Usually will be scared, probably someone will say, "I'll run away." Somebody will say, "I will just give my wallet." But look at this person. What does he do? He says, "Do you want my jacket too?" What would you do now? If you were that guy, that boy with the knife, yes, we will usually panic, right? Now, if this man is saying, "Hey, wait, do you want my jacket too?" If you were the receiving end guy, that boy with the knife, what would you do? How would you feel when somebody responds to you by saying, "Do you want my jacket too?" Okay, let's listen. I would let you decide what you would say.
He hadn't learned this in Robbery 101, so he comes back and he says, "Okay, yeah, all right." But now when he comes back, very different energy. Right? They start to connect. They start to bond. And Julio says, "I'm about to go have dinner. Do you want to join me?" Also not in Robbery 101. So they go to dinner and they have this profound conversation. At the end of dinner, Julio says,
Now, what would you say? So, what has happened so far? Knife wielded, the boy asks for the wallet, the man gives wallet, and then suddenly says, "Hey, do you want my jacket too?" And with that one response, that kid, his mind is totally changed. Now he doesn't know what to do, how to handle the situation. He's cold. He needs that jacket. He says, comes back and says the jacket. And then man says, "You seems to be hungry. Do you want to join me for dinner?" What are you going to do? And then the dinner is over. Now what would you say? Now what you'd say? So Anmol says, "I will try to understand the person's situation is doing that." Okay, right? Listen to this person. So he is achieving the same goal that any of us would wish to achieve, but look at his approach.
"I'd love to treat you, but you have my wallet." So the kid naturally takes out his wallet and gives it back to Julio. And at that point, Julio says, "Can I ask for one more thing? Can I have your knife too?" And very easily, very naturally, he gives it back to him.
So these equations that are part of our growing up, these equations that are taught to us from childhood, they are not meaningless. I just demonstrated one example to you, actually few of them, that when we start reflecting on them, when we do not see them just as candles, but we start reflecting in the light of those candles in our own life, these equations, they have meaning. They can change lives, not just lives of others, our lives as well. So life is nothing but this. Our mental fitness is nothing. It's all about creating this beautiful inner operating system that knows how to grow, that knows how to respond to situation. Because who we are is all about how we think, how we feel, how we behave. Because when our interpretation creates positive feeling, we behave very differently. I promise you, I'll give you an extreme example. Motherhood. When a to-be mom is expecting a baby, she's going through intense pain. It is the whole body is expanding and stretching. You can imagine the pain. But how is mother interpreting that situation? She's not thinking about this momentary pain. All her focus that time is about being a mother. And just because the interpretation of that situation has changed, the feeling is of immense joy. It's not pleasure, probably, because physically it is hurting, but it is an immense feeling of joy, bliss, long term bliss. And that changes the whole behavior. We start looking forward to that situation. So, my dear friends, I want to leave you with this thought here. The thought is that how we think, how we feel, how we behave creates our personality. How we think depends on our experiences in our life. Remember, our experiences are created by how we feel. If you are liking this interaction today, and if I'm able to create positive feelings in you, Arun Bhardwaj is going to sit in your mental map somewhere in a very positive way. And every time you are going to think about this session, or even if you meet me after 2 years or 5 years, a pleasant feeling will come in your mind. And because of that, you will start thinking about me in a very positive way. Experiences create our inner operating systems programs, our interpretations. If we remember certain events in positive elation way, then we have very positive circuits associated with those feelings. And hence, when next time something similar happens, we will think very differently, which will create positive feelings. And those positive feelings will create positive behavior. And those positive behaviors will create positive experiences. And those positive experiences will create positive stories in your mind, which will create positive interpretation for your life. And you will have a positive personality. Once again, take away from this: how you think, how you feel, how you behave depends on the choices you make. The way you make those choices decide the quality of those choices. And all that builds your personality. And my dear friends, your personality creates your personal reality. Your personality creates your personal reality. So remember, how you think, how you feel, how you do creates your personal reality. I grew up in a very small town in Himachal, Solan. And until my graduation, even engineering, I couldn't speak a single word of English. But there was this passion about interacting with human beings, interacting with people worldwide, learning about cultures. And that passion created that personality that is in front of you, which has given me this opportunity to interact right from Indian national teams to Indian army to best of entrepreneurs in the world and spiritual gurus and all these people. I'm sharing these pictures with you to tell you fate is not in your control. But what you do with that fate creates your destiny. And when you make right choices in your life, you can engineer happiness in your life. So I did my research on this whole topic of engineering happiness and came out with this 8-dimensional model, which in summary I'll tell you. If we want to be happy, there are few things which are very important. One, mental and physical health. Very, very important. Second, relationships. You can be very healthy, but if you have no one to interact with, what would you do on a long term basis? So, physical and mental health, number one. Second, relationships. Third, purposeful life. Do you have a purpose for life or not? And purpose, I define not only as you, purpose mean, do you feel that your existence creates a meaning in your own life and that of others? Very, very important. See, we always say mental and physical health is very important. But if you do not have purpose for life, you will wake up in the morning and say, मुझे exercise क्यों करनी है यार? मेरे को उठ के क्या करना है? मुझे क्या करना है life में? Unless that purpose is clear, we will not be even inspired to maintain good mental and physical health. So, mental and physical health, relationships, purposeful life. These are some of the core of foundation of our happiness. Fourth one, of course, is pursuit of excellence or growth mindset of capability to learn, always learn. And there are 4 more dimensions. We will discuss this some other time. And that's what happiness is all about, my dear friends. So, how much time we have left? I lost track of time.
Sir, actually, you can take another 5 minutes.
No, I think we will take questions them and then.
Yes, sir.
So No, I just want to share one story with all of you because I think that's a very important story. Uh, and this story is about, so you gave me 5 minutes, we'll take 5 minutes and share this story. I was intending to store two, three stories, and we will just do this one. It's very important. Because we are talking about fate and destiny, we are talking about decision making, we are talking about how we feel, how we think. This is a story of a crackpot. There was a man, he was a water carrier. He used to bring water from river to this person, a rich person who was living on top of the mountain. Every day he will carry this water. And this story, as much it is for students, it's for the faculty members also. So I'll seek your reflections on this story. As this man used to go every day, he used to carry this water and sell it to this man and earn his livelihood. One of the pots unfortunately cracked. And this other pot, which was wholesome, complete, beautiful pot, started teasing this cracked pot. And since it's a story, the pots can talk. And this good pot started teasing the cracked pot. See, you are such a waste. Because of you, our master is wasting so much of his effort. He's bringing water, but a lot of the water is just falling out. You should give away. Why are you still sticking around? You're wasting our master's effort. And as the story was repeated, this cracked pot started feeling very sad. He started feeling bad about himself. One day, he couldn't control it. Since it's a story and the pots can talk, he started talking to the man and said, Master, why don't you throw me away? I'm a cracked pot. Everybody's making fun of me. I'm wasting your effort. Throw me away. And the man smiles and says, You know what? I knew that you are going to have this question in your mind. But I was waiting for you to ask this question. Because if I told you before you asked me this question, you would not have valued my thought. Here's a little bit of ancient wisdom for all of us. That we have to make people curious. And this pot, he says, now that you are asking this question from me, let me tell you something. Tomorrow, just look towards your left side. How is that path different? So next morning when this person was bringing water, this cracked pot saw that on the left side, there's beautiful row of beautiful flowers all along the road, which is missing on the right side. When they reach on the top, man says, did you see something? And the cracked pot says, yes, there's beautiful layer of flowers all along left side. Man smiles and says, see, I saw your strength. I saw how you can gradually release water and help me irrigate these seeds. So I secretly planted these flower seeds all along the path on left side. Every day, without you knowing, you are feeding those seeds, and those seeds became beautiful flowers. And you know, my wife is plucking those flowers and selling it to the same man I take this water for. And we get lot of money for these flowers. And you know what is more interesting? I'm getting paid much more than for the flowers than what I was getting paid for the water that I was carrying in you. As academic leaders, we have to remember, do we get into the halo of the absolute pot, or do we find the best out of even the cracked pots? As an individual and students, people may tell many things. You might have already accepted many things about you. But would you think of this story and find what is your strength? We spend too much of time fixing what is broken. We spend too much of time trying to correct what is wrong in us. And we spent almost no time in understanding what are our strengths and how to make our strengths more stronger. I hope you will start looking at your strengths. It is not who we are, it is about what we do with who we are. These days, all of us are getting very impacted by social media. I want to warn you. Remember fate and destiny. Remember, it is your decision, it is your actions, it's your response that will create your destiny, not others, how others act, how your fate was. This is the profile picture. Don't get mesmerized by this and start feeling that you're a crackpot. Because sometimes the truth is this. Behind the profile picture, there's an actual picture that we do not know. One of the reasons that we have mental stress, what affects our mental health, we compare, listen to this, we compare our inner self with the outer self of others, and that's causing a lot of damage to us. We compare our inner self with the outer self of others. Don't get depressed by how many likes others got and you did not get, because life has a different picture. Tell me which one you like, A or B. Which one would be considered beautiful girl, A or B? You all know the answer. Now let me share a small video. Now this is reality of life, my dear friends. Don't look at those posters and decide your life. A friend of mine who came from US, he was very amused. He said, Arun, India is the only country where I saw constant advertisements of men's fair and lovely, that men want to become fairer. He says, no other country in the world I saw that. You saw how beauty's perception is created. I tell you, we all are beautiful girls. You are beautiful the way you are. Realize that. Stop comparing yourself to others, because I think this has become one of the menace in our society which is causing mental problem, right? It is causing us to feel little, less. We are comparing. We have peer pressure. Parents have parental pressure. We have, many other pressures. Leave that peer pressure, competition pressure away. Feel proud of who you are. Because when you feel proud of who you are, it is possible by not living a fake life, by living your original life. Maybe only 4 heads will turn towards you when you walk out, but those 4 heads would be of true friends. I hope you'll keep this in mind. What matters is what you do with who you are. That's what is your magic. Think about what is your magic. I want to leave you with this thought of, uh, we'll do this some other day. I think we ran out of time, but I want to leave you with this thought of one symbol of our ancient wisdom. That symbol of ancient wisdom, what I call as namaste. And I want to leave you with this thought and this symbol of ancient wisdom, namaste. When you say namaste, it is not just a greeting, it has a very meaningful greeting on top of it. When we say namaste, I'm saying to you, this is me, this is you, and we are the same. That is the feeling. That means at divinity level, there's nothing different between you and me. We are part of the same divine spark. And if we are the same, that means I might not accept everything that you say, but I still should respect whatever you say. And between this accepting and respecting lies happiness in life. Remember one thing, at the divinity level, we are same. At this physical manifestation, I am Arun and you are whoever you are. But I keep reminding myself of one thing that has changed my life. I am not inferior to you. I am not inferior to you. I also have this realization that I am also not superior to you. I am not even same as you, because I am different. I am unique, and so you are. So at the divinity level, we are same. That connects us. But at the manifestation level, I'm neither inferior to you, I'm not superior to you, I'm not even same as you. I am unique, and so you are. And that's why I might not accept everything that you say, but I realize I will respect everything that you say. And when that happens, we connect with each other. When we connect with each other, we build relationships. When we build relationships, we are in positive mental health. When we are in positive mental health, it inspires us to live a physically active and healthy life. And when all these ingredients are together, we have foundation for living a happy life. I hope I was able to be the candle and leave you with some thoughts that you will now reflect in the book of your own life. And I hope instead of depending on fate, you will take fate as the basis. And now, starting right from today, you will start responding to your life situations in the best possible way so you can create your desired destiny. Back to you, ma'am.
So now some of our students want to interact with you. I invite them one by one. I think Pranav raised hands. Sharon ma'am, please unmute Pranav and
Pranav,
Jasmine.
I've unmuted you. You please unmute yourself from your own side.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Good
I
morning.
am Pranav, and I am really fortunate enough to attend your sessions for second time, and I'm really blessed. Thank you, sir. So my question is, how can I speak to and help someone with a mental health problem like depression or anxiety? So how can we help?
How can you I mean, if the person has shared something with you or you're a friend, see, sometimes what we need to do, and I'll tell you, this is not merely a suggestion, it's part of my life's bitter experience. Sometimes
Yes,
what
sir.
you sometimes we can, those of us who are close, right, and I'm also putting a little bit of responsibility on academic leaders with us today, all of you faculty members, because parents, one thing is that the time this kids we are spending or the children are spending with parents is reducing now, so maybe you are seeing them more often than parents are seeing now. Second part is the relation is very different between children and parents now. Many times that connect has become weaker, especially in this age group that you are handling. And friends, all of you, you are the first responder, because when you see somebody suddenly change behavior, as I showed you that mental health diagram, in a way people start avoiding things, we become quiet, we go into our shell, and then we start feeling low esteem and all that stuff. When you see somebody suddenly changing behavior, sometimes what it takes is just a pat on the shoulder and say, hey, Arun, why don't you come, let's just have a cup of tea. What's going on in your life? Not with the intent of fixing someone, because then sometimes we feel, I don't want to expose my life to anybody because they will think I'm less than them, right? Because in the ancient, now, those of you who are psychology students and gone through fight and flight behavior details, you know that in the ancient times, our threats used to be these animals. And our brain is not designed for being engineers, doctors, educationalists, psychologists, psychiatrists, art. Our brain is designed for only two, three purposes. The topmost is survival. Brain's topmost job is help you survive. Now, in the ancient times, the threat to survival was because of animals and circumstances in the environment. In the modern times, in the current times, we don't have those threats. Unfortunately, these days the threat we have is threat from the psychological warfare. The sword, invisible sword of, if I'm presenting my ideas, are you contradicting me? Am I going to get contradicted for my idea? Are they telling me I'm wrong? That fear of failure. These are the psychological swords that are threatening us these days, right? So when I tell somebody, hey, I think you're going to some difficult time, are you depressed? So you know that what would be the reaction of the person, because that person will start perceiving it as a threat to this person's existence. So first question is that person willing to talk to you, or the person has opened up? Then the response would be slightly different. If not, if it is your observation and you would like to help that person, first thing is, like I said, put an arm around and say, yaar, chalo, mera man kar raha hai, why don't we have a lunch together or tea together? And when you are having that, you say, hey, what's going on? What's happening in life? Let that person speak up, right? Now, there are various ways of handling that conversation based on the situation and what that person is going through. But I'll tell you, do these things matter? Answer is yes. Uh, I'll share one personal example which changed my direction of life. I went to a college for a motivational talk. This was in 2012 or 13. I was still working with a company that time. And this one guy connected with me, and he kept connecting and writing email to me. 6 months later, I was in Singapore. I was just boarding a flight. My phone was still on. I was about to turn it off. I got this constant barrage of calls. And I saw this is India number, so I thought, let me reach India anyway I'm going, then I'll pick this call. It was unknown number, so I kept disconnecting the call. And suddenly I receive a message. What is the point, people like you coming and inspiring us when life is so unfair? The person that I left everything for, or I was doing everything for, doesn't want me anymore. I'm standing on the roof thinking, should I wait for your call or jump? Can you imagine? I'm not a psychiatrist. I was not trained in handling such situation. But I get this SMS when I'm about to board a flight. And now, how would you respond to that situation? Now, suddenly I saw somehow this person has found me to be that one hope. And that first one was actually a mix of reaction and response. But I immediately called back. Like we say in our culture कि सरस्वती का जिह्वा पे वास हो गया. Saraswati sat on the tongue. Probably right words were spoken at that time, right time. What that person wanted was somebody who can just listen to him and assure him that, you are nothing wrong with you. And that one sentence or whatever few sentences spoken, that guy calmed down. I said, let me reach Bangalore and I'll talk to you. And he was waiting for my flight to land. The moment my flight landed, he called me and said, yes, like what are you going to tell me now? And few more thoughts were shared that, when life, after your best effort, you do not get something, failure is not opposite of success. Failure is just a step towards your journey to success. Remember this. And हमको ये गलत सिखाया जाता है कि opposite of success क्या है? Failure है. No. Failure is part of success. When after putting effort, you are failing, I consider that to be a redirection from universal force that a better option exists for me. I deserve better than the current situation. After my effort also, when I fail, I always tell myself, I have a better option for me. That's why redirection is happening. It is not a failure. Right words were spoken again, right time. After 6 months, I receive a call from the same young man again. He was again very confused and said, sir, I need your help. So I said, भाई अब कहाँ पर खड़े हो? बोला सर कहीं पे खड़ा नहीं हो. I got a job offer from Wipro and Infosys both, which was like dream job for him. I'm confused which one to join. And after he made the choice, he came to meet me with his mother. And his mother said to me, Arunji, I have given him birth, but you have given him second life. So I want to leave you with this last thought now. People often ask me, अब तो आपने PhD कर ली happiness पे, are you happy? I tell them I'm happier. My reaction time to things, if I used to feel bad for 2 hours, I feel less now. If I used to get angry at people, I get less angry now. So I'm happier. Then people ask me, give us some easy method of feeling happy. And I tell you that once again, Praveen. The easiest way of experiencing happiness is when you do for someone something without expecting anything back. Once again, easiest way of experiencing happiness is when you do something for someone without expecting anything back. If you want to take it one notch higher, do something for someone for whom you know for sure he or she will not be able to do anything back to you. This is like simplest way of experiencing long-term happiness, bliss, joy. So I know I have given you multiple directions, multiple thoughts. Now you have to pick which one is appropriate for a situation that you are facing with your friend or anybody. But make sure that you become a reason for somebody's smile. They say in Egypt, they believe in heaven. They believe in life after death. They believe in passage to life. That's why they have built pyramids, as you know. They say when the soul reaches heavens, at the heavens gate, only 2 questions are asked. And I always believe that I will also reach that point someday. First question is, have you lived a joyful life? Now, joyful life is not life of parties, life of celebrations. Joyful life is life of peace and contentment. That I have lived a virtuous life. So first question is, have you lived a joyful life? And the second question that is asked on Heaven's Gate, have people lived joyful life because of you? I think if we can do these two, I do not know whether you'll become a psychologist or an IAS officer or entrepreneur or whoever, but I can guarantee you, you'll become a great human being.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So our next student is Jasmine.
Jasmine. Hi, Jasmine.
Hi, sir. First of all, thank you so much for instilling so much wisdom in all of us. And we really, when you say so much thing, we start introspecting, and it's really brilliant. So my question is, when a person is unable to achieve his or her goal or aspiration, despite of so much hard work and determination, either he starts blaming his destiny, as we usually hear people saying शायद किस्मत में नहीं लिखा था, or he starts doubting his or her own potential. So what would you advise to such person?
Beautiful. देखिए, there are Jasmine, there are very beautiful question, and I'm pretty sure everybody has this question in mind. Now, I will answer one, and then if you have a additional question because you have context in your mind, but I'll answer this question from my own experience. There are two levels of living life. Okay. Now, when I'm talking about this program called Engineering Happiness, I am sharing with you a methodology how to nurture circumstances in your life that you can live a happy life. So we say that all our pursuits, as you heard me say, are pursuits of happiness. We are trying to achieve happiness in our life, right? And that's why we are making all the decisions, all the actions we take is towards happiness. We want to achieve happiness in our life. I call it pursuit of happiness. Correct? First part of our life is all about pursuit of happiness. So आपको बचपन से बताया जा रहा है, मुझे भी, आप ही नहीं, मुझे भी बताया जा रहा है इसमें, work hard, because when you work hard you will achieve success, and when you achieve success, Jasmine तुम्हारी लाइफ बन जाएगी, and then you'll be happy. तो आप फिर 10th में हो गई, 10th में आपको फिर कहा गया 10th you work hard, because after 10th is a decisive year for your life. After this लाइफ बन गई. Then came 12th, फिर आपकी सब छुट्टी वुट्टी बंद हो गई, फिर आपको कहा गया 12th is when your life will change. Either you go this way or that way. So 12th में अच्छे से पढ़ लो, फिर लाइफ बन गई. So the model always was work hard, achieve success, and then you'll be happy. Correct? Then we came to college, then you're going to find a job, and again the equation will remain worked hard, achieve success, you'll be happy. This is called pursuit of happiness. And this is like drinking salty water, more you drink, more thirsty you're going to feel. So what is our alternative? Like you said. So जब work hard, achieve success, sometimes that success might come at a cost because you did your best, result was a failure. And everybody in the world will tell you failure is bad. And that's why I told you, failure is not opposite of success, it's part of success. As long as, this is very important, failure is part of success. As long as we do not fail twice for the same reason. Make sense? Now, let me glorify failure. Today, I want all of you to think of failure in a very different way altogether. मुझे एक बात बताइए, what is great about human beings? कंप्यूटर हमसे अच्छा सोच सकते हैं, हमसे कम गलतियां करते हैं, हमसे फास्टर सोच सकते हैं. Yeah, you will come back to relationships and emotions and all that, good. I accept. But in terms of efficiency, computers are great. So what is special about human beings? Now, the greatest advantage of computer is they don't get tired and they don't commit mistakes, right? And that greatest advantage that humans have is opposite to computers. Computer में एक बार programming कर दिया गया, once you program a computer, computer will not commit mistake at all. Whatever you have told computer, it will keep giving you the same result, it will never get tired. And hence, computer will never be able to create something that did not exist before. Human capability, Jasmine, आपकी सबसे बड़ी capability आज घर बताना, आप फोन करके घर में कि आज एक महात्मा जी आए थे, गुरुजी, उन्होंने ये बड़ी नई चीज बताई है. The greatest capability a child has is capability to commit mistake, because when you break the rules, you find something that never existed before. Do you agree with me or not? So this whole concept of failure.
Sir, when we make mistakes, we are scolded.
See, because they are also taught the same thing ना, mistake गलत है, तो आप उनको जरा आप भी अपडेट कीजिए उनके ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम को. लेकिन that's why I qualified with the second statement that making mistake to learn is good. Making same mistake twice, then you are at trouble. वो नहीं होना चाहिए. Then we are not human being. Then we are insane, right? बट इट इज दैट मॉडल दैट हम लोग मिस्टेक करने के केपेबल हैं, विच कॉजेज इनोवेशन एंड क्रिएटिविटी. नहीं तो जैसा हो रहा था वो सब कुछ होता रहेगा. करेक्ट. नाउ अगर आपका डिजायर्ड आउटकम नहीं आई है, रिमेंबर दैट मॉडल E प्लस ए इज इक्वल टू O. E इज इवेंट. इवेंट क्या है कि आप फेलियर हो गया. जो आपकी आउटकम थी ना वो इवेंट बन गया अभी. नाउ व्हाट इज इन योर हैंड? एक तो आप रोते रहे. सेकंड है, अरे let me just reflect what I did. The response that I gave had a deficiency. Now, this time I'm going to respond in a much better way. So, my quality of response to the event, which is failure, has improved now. Hence, my outcome now should be better than before. But remember, you can have an intent of improving outcome. This is the most important thing we have to learn as human being. उसके ऊपर आपका कंट्रोल नहीं है. You can influence the outcome by improving quality of our effort. You should expect the outcome before outcome actually happens. You should know what you want to get as an outcome, and you should try hard best possible. But once that outcome happens, we should have wisdom to know now we don't have any control. Hence, we should accept the result. What is, it is. I know आप इसको थोड़ा सोचेंगे because I've thought of this a lot, and whatever dilemma you have been talking about, all of us sitting on the other side have gone through this dilemma. But we have to finally realize this fact that we can have expectation of an outcome before our action and choices. Once we have made our best possible choices, the outcome is not in our control. What comes out, we should accept it, because when we accept it as is, it gives us capability to respond to this outcome now in next wave in the best possible way. Am I making sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So
Very true.
so this outcome, you are saying you failed in something. That outcome has now become an event. Now you cannot control. That has already happened. So हम लोगों see, I'm telling you. So knowing is one thing. But after knowing, not being able to utilize it in our life is what makes us human beings. So these kind of dialogues, when they happen multiple times, धीरे धीरे करके हमारा जो iOS है, inner operating system, that programming shifts little bit, right? Many times people ask me, sir, आप आए थे, you just motivated us. That motivation remained for 1 or 2 weeks. उसके बाद में सर सब चला गया. So I asked the question, and this will happen after this talk also. So I asked them, how many times a month you take bath? And people say, what do you mean? We take bath every day. And I said, why is that? You are wasting water. I said, no sir, we have to stay clean. Every day we have dust and pollution and we sweat out and all that stuff, so we have to take bath. Now we are so careful when it comes to our physical health, physical beauty. But what about our mental health and mental beauty? Same thing is happening to our mind also. When you go out, lot of these negative impact, news is negative, social media is telling you all this, talks also that we are doing with our friends, it's all about negative and making you less. Then you are also coming out brewing some thoughts from inside, so you are sweating out some negative thoughts. For that also we need to do that mental cleanup, right? So talks like this, conversations like this, dialogues like this, making sure every day 10 to 15 minutes of positive content on YouTube, which gives you this positivity, which keeps hammering this fact that outcomes can be influenced by quality of your action. They cannot be controlled. Once it has happened, after best of your effort, accept it and now respond to the new situation in best possible way. That's the way life will become better. But we all deserve to live a happy life. Let's not.
Thank you so much.
Let's
sir.
change the model today. See, my pursuit in life is now, instead of that traditional model that your parents were taught and you were taught by your parents, and I was taught by my parents, not just your parents or everybody, our society. Work hard, achieve success, and then you'll be happy. The change we need to make, I call it happiness mindset. I want to instill this new patch in your inner operating system. Remember, the model has to be changed to enjoy whatever you are doing here. जो आप कर रहे हो, if you are in KMV studying a course, you should totally immerse yourself and enjoy. The success is guaranteed. What happens later doesn't matter. In the process, you are enjoying it. You should feel mesmerized, immersed in whatever you are doing. That's what I meant by from pursuit of happiness to happiness in pursuit. When I was working for a corporate company, I was making so much of money that I was feeling guilty that I'm getting paid so much. But my challenge was I did not know how I'm changing, making any difference in the world. How, because of me, a life is getting changed. Now, in my happiness in pursuit life, when I'm talking to you and I see your face smiley, I get $1 million worth of joy out of it. And it is so instant, immediate. This is what I meant by from pursuit of happiness to happiness in pursuit. Start living your life joyfully. Squeeze joy in every moment if possible. Because when that happens, neurologically you are going to be more creative, more productive. Because when we are happy, our brain is thinking beyond just fight and flight, it is thinking of possibilities. And when you are happy and you are thinking creatively, innovatively, divergently, outcome is experience of success. Now, in the two models, in the first model, purpose of living life was so you can achieve happiness. So, work hard, success, happiness. In the second model, which I'm calling happiness mindset, purpose of living life is enjoying every moment of life. And side effect or outcome is experience of success. Intent is happiness, outcome is success. In the first model that is usually taught to us, intent is success, outcome is happiness. You choose which life you think is better, right? I hope the second one, the happiness mindset.
Thank you so much, sir. Grateful.
Thank you. Thanks for that great question.
Actually, we have very long list of questions from student, but according to time, we have to move on. And my dear students, we will continue with some other sessions, right, sir?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm so glad. I hope whatever I've shared with you. I'm just going to share last couple of slides now before we close. If you, I want to leave you with these two thoughts. So I want to leave you with these thoughts. Remember the candle parable? Remember the winnow and the sieve parable? Maybe you found one idea worth reflecting, or maybe you found 10. But ideas won't work until you do the work. Today, remember, is a very important day. Today is the connect between your fate and your desired destiny. You can choose to just live life how it was before, or you can choose to upgrade your inner operating system with some of the new stories that we have built today. And I'm pretty sure you will do that. You'll build new habits. The summary of whatever I said is, I think, put into this one slide that I've shared before with you. Your personality creates your personal reality. We try to make change in our life without changing our personality. You cannot create a new personal reality with the same personality. What I mean by personality is how you think, how you feel, how you act, right? So when you change how you think, how you act, how you feel, you create a new personality. A personality that is more aligned with the personal reality that you want to create in your life. So I invite you to think of today as a transformation day for all of us, where you will pick some of the thoughts from this talk and imbibe it into your life and aspire to create a new personal reality. Whenever I talk to youngsters like you, I feel those of us who are on the teaching side of things now, our canvas of life is half painted already. We can make minor modification, but we have already filled that canvas half. But all of you, your canvas of life is almost blank right now. And I hope what you are doing in your schooling and in the college now, you are learning different strokes, different methods of sharing your creativity with the world on this canvas of life. I hope you have learned the art of this picture making on the canvas of your life. I hope today's injection of new thoughts will inspire you to now learn how to fill different colors in this canvas of life that you have created so far. And that would be my wish and my hope and prayer for you, that all of you utilizing the tools that you have learned so far, utilizing the tools that I've shared with you today, and utilizing the tools that you will learn in future programs that you are going through, you will carve out a masterpiece, a unique masterpiece of your own on the canvas of your life. See, Mona Lisa, the canvas is mere probably 1,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees, let's say. The paints on Mona Lisa, another 20,000 rupees. Mona Lisa's value today, around 400 crores. Why? Because a painter with skills made Mona Lisa on a dead canvas. If a dead canvas can become worth 500 crore just because how beautiful artist painted it, just imagine what all of you can do on the canvas of your life. And the academic leaders that we have today, I invite you to think of you when you introduce yourself in the next social meeting. Instead of introducing yourself as a teacher or professor, how exciting can that be? Does that make you wake up in the morning that you have to go and teach? I want you to think of transformers of life, because you are the ones who are giving these students capability to transform this canvas of life into their own masterpiece. So I invite you to think as not teachers but transformers of life. With that, let's go leave this session with the hope that today is the first day of the rest of our life. This saying gives me hope every single day. Today is the first day of the rest of my life. This is this hope which transforms us from worrying about fate to becoming creator of our destiny. My mission in life is very simple: to help uncover the greatness within people and leave people happier than I found them. And I hope I'm leaving you happier than I found all of you and lived my mission in life. Now, all these stories that I've told you, I've written a book called The Book of Reflections. You can check it out on my website. It is arunb.com. You will find the book, link to the book. It's called The Book of Reflections, Stories from Ancient Wisdom. And if you'd like to stay in touch with me, very easy. See, life is all about where you are to where you want to be. So life is all about going from A to B. And I'll be very happy to help you run from A to B. You can reach me at arunb@arunb.com. That's my email. My website is arunb.com. So stay connected, stay in touch. I wish all of you a very successful, happy, healthy life. And it's my privilege, and I'm feeling so proud that I'm talking to some of the brightest students of India who are studying in top ranking, number one ranked college in India right now. And I'm getting this opportunity to share my thoughts because I have a lot of hope from you, all of you, because how life was lived based on what we discussed today can transform how all of you will live your life. And it's my pleasure to be talking to all of you. Thank you very much, Dr. Pratima Sharma, for connecting with me and then giving me this opportunity to connect with everybody. Thank you to all the faculty members. Thank you, Dr. Kaur, for facilitating this session. And thanks to Principal Ma'am also for allowing this session to happen in this beautiful series on mental health. And I hope I'm leaving you with something to munch on to help improve mental health, not of only you, but the environment around you. Thank you very much, and back to you.
Thank you, sir, for giving an excellent knowledge on the topic. Our young students can surely benefit a lot from this. Hope your words add great significance to their lives.